This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16, is that the Spirit jumped on me to ask Google, does America still continue to have sanctions on Turkey? And as of today, America still has sanctions on Turkey due to the fact that Turkey bought Russian S-400s several years ago. Okay, these S-400s are surface-to-air missiles. Okay, and they're very powerful. So this is pursuant to Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, because the beast, which is NATO, all right, is being stirred up to hate the whore, which is America, Babylon the Great. In fact, let's just prove that who this whore is, right? This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right, this is a clue right here. Okay, the whore that sitteth upon many waters. Okay, or the woman that sits upon many waters. All right, that also sits on the scarlet colored beast. Jumping down to the point, Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay, and this is talking about America, Babylon the Great. Okay, that's that whore. Okay, or that woman that sits upon that scarlet colored beast right here. Revelation 17 and 3. So he carried me away in the spirit of the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Right, and the 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. Let's pull this up. You see, the beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. Okay, there you go. All right, and who's part of NATO? Turkey, or Turkey. So let's read this, because the Lord is stirring up the spirit of NATO. All right, these NATO members to go against America. All right, so the U.S. has imposed sanctions on Turkey due to its purchase of the Russian S-400 missile system, which led to sanctions on Turkey's President of Defense Industries, SSB, including an export ban, asset freezes, and visa restrictions on some of its officials. Sanctions were also imposed on several Turkish companies. All right, so they're messing with the money. America, they're messing with Turkey's businesses for allegedly assisting Iran, in circumventing U.S. export controls by supplying dual-use goods. Turkey also faced a congressional restriction on receiving 535 fighter jets. All right, and so hey, this is all leading to once again the beast hating the whore, which NATO, all right, attacking America, all right, and them JJs too, okay, because Turkey can't stand them JJs, and because of them JJs, America backing them JJs, all right, they're gonna attack America. It's only a matter of time. Now, what about the 10 horns? All right. So, and the 10 horns are the European Union. All right, let's go back to this. Okay, the 10 horns represent the Common Market or the European Economic Community (EEC), established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. So these are the 10, right? Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain, and Portugal, England, and Ireland, West Germany. Okay. So, what about the 10 horns that are part of NATO, which is the beast? It says, so I asked Google AI, are European countries upset with America? The AI overview. Yes, many European countries and their publics are currently upset with the United States due to significant disagreements on trade, security, and foreign policy, particularly concerning the administration of President Donald Trump. All right, that cruel lord, okay, that fierce king. All right, hey, Donald Trump is pissing off its own allies. All right. So, and this is all prophetic. That's why, we just believe through the Spirit that, we'll see is of the Lord. The Lord can, this is his theater. But we believe that Donald Trump's got to be the guy, He's got to be the last president, all right? But we'll see. This is the Lord's movie. We're on his time. But again, we're on our watch. Us here at Great Millstone. And, the Spirit jumped on me early this morning just go into the topic of the beast shall hate the whore. and just ask several questions pertaining to that verse, to meaning to give it a color, and how the scriptures are speaking. So these are the key areas of contention: trade and tariffs, U.S. imposed tariffs, including a universal 10% tariff and a 20% tariff on the EU, have been a major point of friction. While a trade deal was reached in July 2025 to manage the situation, many Europeans feel the terms are lopsided and disadvantages to the EU, with some viewing the tariffs as a political tool. Right. So, in American media, they made it seem like, the trade deal between Europe and America is great, but in the among the Europeans, okay, they're upset about it. NATO insecurity. Concerns are widespread in Europe about the U.S. commitment in NATO's Collective Defense Pledge, Article 5, and its overall role as a reliable ally. There we go. Okay, now why was NATO set up? Okay, NATO was set up to go against Russia. That's the truth. Okay, this is how you know Russia is not a part of the beast. Russia's not a part of NATO. Okay? Because NATO was strictly set up to go against Russia. Can we prove that real quickly? All right. Why was NATO created? What was NATO created for? Here we go. NATO was formed in 1949 primarily as a collective defense alliance to counter the Soviet Union's growing influence and the threat of Soviet expansionism following World War II. Okay, so Russia is not a part of the beast. Okay, Russia's not part of NATO. Okay, there you go. So when you read in and this is to IUIC because they got it all jacked up. When you read no, let me keep that because certain NATO members are gonna that have nuclear capabilities are gonna launch missiles on nuclear missiles on America. That's a fact. You heard it here first at Great Millstone, starting with our apostles, elders. That's a fact. Okay. Revelation 13. Just gonna get to the point for time's sake. All right. So when you see here in Revelation 13 and 2, and the beast, okay, this beast, all right, which I saw was like onto a leopard. All right, this is it breaks down what the beast is. You know, the who's part of the beast and how its creation. Okay, so the leopard is the Greeks. Okay, and right here it says, and his feet was as the feet of a bear. Right, now we always go into how the bear is Russia, but again back to facts. The bear, which is Russia, is not a part of the beast of NATO. Okay, the reason why the scripture is here because Russia is going to end this beast system that America, okay, and NATO and the EU have been pushing throughout the world by what? By Russia destroying America. Because when you go into the word feet, it's pois or pus, and it means to what? Often in the Orient, one put his foot on vanquished, and defeat thoroughly, right? So the Russians, which is the bear, is going to defeat this beast, okay, by destroying America, Babylon the Great, along as well as America's allies destroying America. So, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, right? That's why like the aviation is all based on English. Okay, you have to know English in order to fly planes, and as well as the financial system. Okay, I like to always bring out the financial system because China, Russia, I'm just naming those two because they come to mind. They have to know English in order to conduct financial business. Okay, throughout the world. That's the native tongue to discuss commerce, is you have to know English. Okay? And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Right. The dragon is what? Ancient Rome. All right. So now you know, okay, that this bear can't be part of NATO. Okay. The bear is here to signify the defeat of this beast system by the destruction of America. Okay. And again, America's allies, which is the EU, which is part of NATO, they're going to destroy America too. Okay, so now we know about this. So now this is the Article 5. Okay, why was Article 5 set up? To go against Russia, plain. The Russian-Ukraine war and multilateralism and democracy. European public opinion has plummeted in response to U.S. withdrawal from multilateral agreements and international institutions such as the Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Organization. A significant number of Europeans also perceive President Trump as having authoritarian tendencies and view his actions as a threat to peace and security. This is why we believe he's got to be the last president. Okay? So, let me bring this out. Obadiah, I'll start at 6. Obadiah is a powerful book. It's only one chapter, but it's powerful. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Right, through the men of the Lord, more specifically. Okay, um, we're bringing everything out about these Edomites. Okay, and basically showing that they're on their way out. Okay, um, by using what's going on in the world, current events, and filtering it through the scriptures. But 7, all the men, here's the point, all the men of thy confederacy, like NATO members, okay, have brought thee even to the border. Right. America has military bases in Turkey and all throughout Europe. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound on thee. There is none understanding in him. Right. So all America's allies are going to turn against her, and you clearly see it's starting. Okay. Again, back to Turkey. Turkey bought Russian weapons. All right, and America sanctioned Turkey. That's a NATO member. Okay, and then of course you got Europe seeing everything Donald Trump's doing, which is pissing them off, and they're like, yo, we can't rely on America anymore. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 29. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done. Do unto her, for she hath been proud against the Lord Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. Right. And this is why the Lord set up the certain NATO members that have nukes, all right, to use those nukes on America, Babylon the Great, okay, along with America's enemies like Russia, China, and best believe Iran. Iran's going to get those nukes too. Or I believe they have them, but there's got to be a narrative that they're going to say, oh, Iran has nukes, so that, just to justify going full blown war with Iran. From the JJs and of course America, which is going to ultimately lead to them JJs and America's demise. That's why you got to watch the Middle East. But yeah. Oh, let me ask a quick question. Like right now, how many NATO countries have nukes, nuclear weapons? Nuclear weapons. Mm-hmm. So, of course, as of right now, which this is what they want us to know. Guaranteed there's more countries. It's France and the United Kingdom, okay, that has nuclear weapons, okay? But this can also always change. This is another reason why there'll never be peace in the so-called Middle East, because them JJs have nuclear weapons, and Iran ain't going for that, okay? All right, and that's why Russia, China is going to constantly back Iran because they understand, okay? As well as North Korea. North Korea, they have nukes, but they don't trust them JJs, okay? And that's why they back Iran. So yeah, it's getting spicy. So and of course, Russia has the most nukes, okay? So Donald Trump is lying. Donald Trump lied saying that, oh, America has more nukes than Russia. That's not the truth. Russia has more nukes. Why? So that prophecy can be fulfilled. So let's go back to Revelation chapter 17 verse 16 again. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Right. So we know who the beast is, NATO and the EU. These shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right, meaning nuclear destruction. And all right, and the Lord is stirring up their spirit to hate America. That's from what I just showed you from the Google AI. 17, for God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the God shall be fulfilled. Right, to the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So yeah. So This is the will of the Lord. He's setting this all up. So there's no escaping prophecy. That's why we're telling our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, you need to repent. All right, this destruction's coming. 18, and the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Right, and who's that great city? Babylon the Great. All right, real quickly, Revelation 14 and 8. Revelation 14:8, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Right. Okay. So who's Babylon the Great? America. So Lord willing, this was edifying. Again, Spirit jumped on me to ask, Google AI about the sanctions, and of course, Europe's becoming more upset with America. And it's falling right into what the scriptures are saying. And the beast shall hate the whore. Okay, and the beast once again is NATO and the EU. All right, right. The beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. Okay, so they're being set up to destroy America, Babylon the Great. So with that, I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the 4 corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it door, keep it faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostle elders. We're almost out of here. For the few sisters that are watching, keep studying when you pray, paycheck, cover, shalom.